All right, so today is November 21, 2017, Tuesday. Tomorrow is officially Code Freeze. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting, and we're going to start off with a status update. Let me share my screen and then we can get started. Okay. One of the big open items is the Entry CSI volume plugin. Vlad, do you want to give an update?
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of implementing the reviews that you did last night or early this morning, my time. So that's where I'm at, and I'm trying to wrap that up as soon as possible for possibly another round if needed of reviews. And
Okay.
I think I'm making good progress. I stopped to grab something to eat, but I'm right back at it.
Cool. Do you have any other questions on anything in the review that you want to talk about right now?
Those were the two things. I mean, we can address the capability, the controller capability call.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked at your reply.
Okay. So basically the deal there is the wording in the spec says that if this capability exists, then the node publish must be called after controller publish has successfully been called.
Mm-hmm.
So just by the nature of the way that our pipeline is configured, we have the attach and the mount, and the attach calls controller publish, mount calls node publish. We're already set up to do that.
Okay.
So we don't need to actually verify or check anything. And by actually checking the capability, we'll be introducing a bug where since the capability is not necessarily advertised by all instances of the plugin, and the instance that's handling the mount part is actually not going to have that capability. So it'll just say, I don't have it, and then we'll on mount.
Okay. Yeah, so that was that was the piece with the biggest question.
Okay. And then I think there was some stuff about wait for attach, but it sounds like you're okay on that now.
Yeah, wait for attach. Yes, I figured it out after I kind of went back and thought about it and reread what you said. Yes, and then further down, you mentioned to basically use the actual APIs wait for attach, which I was not doing before. But once I did that, which I had before.
Yep, I remember. I think me and Jan were kind of pulling you in two different directions.
Right. So now it's easier now having it because I was missing, by taking it out, I was missing the timeout parameter, which I couldn't figure out how I was going to get it back. But reverting back to the API makes it easier.
Nice.
And then I think those were the two. So I'll remove the capability call, which will be a nice chunk of code, but that's okay. Because I don't think there's no need to talk to the controller anyway. So I'll take it out. Okay. And everything else, I did a lot of cleaning yesterday, I was getting a lot of goal lint errors. So all that's been taken care of. This morning when I looked, there was only one task that was failing. So it's pretty much cleaned up.
Cool. So as soon as you're ready for me to take another look, go ahead and ping me, and I'll take a look, and hopefully we could get it LGTM'd. I think you might have to fight with rebasing a little bit until it gets merged, but hopefully it won't be too bad.
Who would we be rebasing with?
So there's everybody in storage is trying to get things in the last few days. So the one big one is block.
But no, we we already merged the API stuff, though.
The API went in, but there's a internal API stuff. They're extending, I think, the plugin API or volumes API to add a couple commands for block.
Okay.
So it's possible, but depending on who gets merged first.
Yeah, I don't mind fighting rebase as long as I know that I got approval and LGTM. I'm good.
Yep. And then, so there's that one. And then I think it's probably the only one that could break you. There's, I think, resizing, but I don't think that should affect you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that looks like it's on track. Let's move on to end-to-end tests. Luis, do you have any updates here?
Yes, I do. I have been working on end-to-end since yesterday. And first I had to learn about it because I've never done an end-to-end, the framework and how it works.
Yep.
So I have Erin kind of give me a hand on that, Erin Boyd.
Okay.
So she sent me documentation and things like that. So I was able to write enough of a test yesterday and today to just, no, I haven't run it yet. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to figure out how to run my test. But I wrote one so that I can bring up the container, the external attacher, on the same pod with the mock driver. So that, and then set up a Unix domain socket in between. And then I need to exercise it. So this is my next question. Now that Vladimir's the CSI plugin's not there yet, so I have to. One second. I have to thinking about. Sorry, one second. Thinking about sending an API call instead to the controller to create a volume attach object, which would then exercise the external attacher and send the command to the mock plugin. Now, should I do that or should I wait? So
let's do both. Let's do that, and then when Vlad stuff gets available, create another test that'll do the full path. That way we can have both components.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Sounds good because I'm still learning how to execute my test.
Cool.
And so, what's up?
The question I had, Saad, when you say Vlad's stuff is available, you mean after it get merged or?
Merged. Yeah. In fact, you could probably just pick up Vlad's stuff, his PRs, and do it internally if you want to go down that path.
That's what I was.
Yeah, but then I'll deal with conflicts and stuff like that. I'll just wait.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool.
But if you need help, I mean, if you change your mind, you need help, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I know the one place will, you probably get tripped up is the socket, how to set it up to make sure they.
Oh yeah. It should be.
I mean, it's just it's a static directory right now.
Okay.
You just need to be aware of that.
Static directory, isn't it? Shouldn't you be looking at the CSI endpoint variable according to the spec?
No, because it's not available to Kubernetes.
Oh, so okay, so you're doing it the way that Saad described in the documentation, dropping.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. I just so there's two ways to do it right now. So the way that
absolutely. I mean, the general way is to go via the environmental variables.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing for the kubelet. So I'm not even looking for that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, whenever you get to that point, let me know.
You got it.
Okay. Cool. So that sounds good. Do you think you'll have a PR by today, Luis, or?
If I can figure out just the attacher and then send the let's see, by today your time, I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just enough just for the attacher and unattach command.
Sounds good.
So okay, so if I send the attach command, then I expect this is the part where the mock plugin. I don't know if it's how do I know it worked? Just make sure it didn't like is there a status change to volume attach? The object?
Yeah, so if you look in the volume attach object, there is an attached field And
Okay.
once the external provisioner picks it up, it's either going to change the attach field to true, or it's going to set one of the the attach error field to an error.
Got it.
You can look in my PR as well, because I have an attacher and detacher.
Okay.
So you can see what's going on there as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. So Saad, one more question about the which one is it? The detacher. So it after reading your comments, it sounds like the only thing I need to be concerned with is detecting whether or not that object has been actually deleted, and or if it comes back with an actual detach error.
Yep,
That's it.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah, that's the change I made. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and did you have a decision on which way you wanted to go with the wait for attach? Are you gonna? I think there were a couple options that we laid out there.
Wait for attach. I thought wait for attach was okay.
I'll pull up your PR real quick.
Because I didn't make a note for it.
Okay. I think we might just be on the same page then, because I listed out two options, one that I preferred more than the other.
Yeah. So I went with the way, I think we're talking about having the API called await during the wait, which is what I'm doing.
It was this guy right here. I think this was about the error handling. So if you in the attach call, if you create a volume attachment object, then an error happens during wait for volume attach. Right now, the way that it's structured is that wait for volume attach will just return that error and attach will fail. The problem with that is that the volume attachment object doesn't get cleaned up. And so we want that cleanup to happen, and there's a couple of ways that you can force that cleanup to happen. One is that you capture the return for wait for attach, and if it's an error, then you go ahead and delete the volume object, attachment object that was created above before you return. The problem with that approach is that it can cause ping-ponging, right? So if you have a attached that takes a really long time and wait for attach just times out early, and then we delete the object, which causes the detach, and then we come back, we retry, we recreate the object. Now the external attacher has to try to attach again, and then it times out again. We're basically ping-ponging back and forth. So I don't like that option. What I prefer is that as soon as the volume attachment object is created, as far as the attach method is concerned, there's no more errors. We still wait for attach, right? We wait for attach, and if there's an issue, we log that. But as far as this method is concerned, it's always going to return nil after the volume object is created. And the reason for that is that you basically give an indication to the attach detach controller that's calling this that I've attached something. As far as attach detach controller is concerned, this operation succeeded. And so what that means is that if that volume is no longer needed, the attach detach controller is going to say, oh, I don't need this anymore, but I attached this previously, so let me make sure I go and detach it. So it's going to call detach, and it's going to delete that volume attachment object. And so we're going to have the cleanup happen. But the nice thing is that we don't do this ping-ponging, right? So if you have a case where you have a volume attachment that takes a really long time, you're going to create the volume attachment object. The external attacher is going to pick it up. It's going to start its operation. You're going to do your wait for volume attach. That's going to time out. It's going to say, it's taking too long. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to fail this. The attach operation says it succeeded. It's just hands off. It says, I'm, everything is fine. Then your external attacher is going to continue to operate on that object, right? It's going to say, oh, it still exists. Let me continue to try to attach it. Eventually, it's going to succeed and put it into a good state. So your wait for attach method, which you have on the mounter side, is now going to succeed, and it's going to allow mount to happen. And then, assuming none of that happens, let's say that it's continuing to retry, but it's failing to attach. Eventually, you're going to get rid of the pod that's referencing that volume. Then the attach detach controller is going to say, oh, is this volume attached? Oh, it looks like it's attached, so let me go and detach it. And then the detach operation is going to delete the volume attachment object. So the cleanup is handled by the attach detach controller, and that gives the driver enough time to be able to operate instead of like ping-ponging back and forth.
Okay. So let me clarify one thing. Are you saying, because from what I understand in the earlier comments in the PR, I should just return immediately after the volume attachment object has been created?
You could do that. Or what I'm saying is you could even call wait for volume attached, but don't return its status code, and wait for it to complete and return nil. The reason being, like, if you want to kind of hold off until you are certain that there is some state, like, fine, it doesn't hurt to wait and hold off on the attach operation until the attach operation is completed. The only thing that we have to be careful about is the value that's returned after the volume attachment object is created. Because if the value you return is a failure, then and we don't clean it up, right? Then nobody's going to clean up that volume attachment object. It leaks.
Right. So just so I can be clear, the change that I made is basically I returned immediately.
You can do that, or what I recommend is just leave the wait for attach, but don't capture its return code, or if you capture it, just log it and don't return it. And then after that's completed, just return. And
I think there's a bit of... Go ahead.
We can jump into this little bit of code here if it's a little bit more.
Oh, because there was another... the reason why I keep going back to that, because there was another comment you made about using the API wait for attach. So I want to make sure that...
Yes. So that one's different. So you have two components involved. One is the attach detach controller, and the other is the kubelet. So the attach detach controller only cares about two operations, basically, the attach and the detach.
Okay.
And so inside the attach operation, if you do a wait for attach, that's okay. Basically what that's doing is it's delaying the attach detach controller.
Right.
And then completely independent of that, asynchronous to that, you have kubelet running, and kubelet will immediately say, is this volume ready to mount? And so normally what a plugin would do is it would look at its local disk and try to say, oh, is the device available?
Yep.
And then if it is, then it'll go ahead and continue with mount. But in this case, we don't have that logic. That logic has to be implemented by the volume plugin inside their node publish.
Right.
The best that we can do on the node side is inside the wait for attach public interface method, call into your wait for attach here, which basically pulls the object and waits for it to get ready, so that we know that the attach operation, as far as the control plane is concerned, has completed. So what we've noticed is that even when the control plane attach operation completes, sometimes the device is not immediately ready or available, which is why this wait for attach method would do things like probe the device and things like that. So now we're not going to probe the device. We're just going to wait for the control plane attached to finish. Then we hand it off to mount, and then the inside the mount call, node publish is called, and hopefully inside the node publish, the volume plugin basically does its verification to ensure that the device is actually available and wait if it's not.
I see.
So that's the kubelet side of things, and so kubelet needs both of those components, and the wait for attach should return an error if there's a failure there. And that's completely independent of this method. This method, attach, is executed by the kube controller manager as part of the attach detach controller. And
right.
It just says, make this volume, attach this volume for me. And as far as we're concerned, attaching a volume just means creating that object. So once the object is created, we say, all right, this thing is attached. But for safety's sake, we can say, okay, fine, we're going to call wait for volume attach here just to make sure that we give it enough time to succeed.
I see.
But then what the value that's returned should not be the value returned by this method. It should just say that I succeeded regardless of what it returns.
Because that's what I had, and then I continued to read the comment about the wait for attach, the API, the actual API call.
One down here, yep.
I switched it to call that method from there.
Yep, that makes sense.
It sounded like what you're saying is it's okay to have it in both places.
Yep, exactly.
As far as the attach, just log what happened with it and then keep going. Okay.
Yep. And keep it in both places. On the attach side, log it. On the wait for attach kubelet side, you can actually return it.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Cool. And that's pretty much it. I don't think we have any updates to the external changes. I have yet to get started on the sidecar for kubelet registration. I've been heads down on all the PRs to review for code freeze.
Yeah, we don't even need that until much later.
Yeah. But I want to get started on it soon so we can start doing end-to-end, like complete deployments. So I'm hoping to get that started soon. And that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
No. What's the status on end-to-end tests? So they had the same type of freeze?
I think end-to-end tests can technically be merged in after the fact. When I was release R, that's what I did. I'm not sure what this release R is doing, but I believe end-to-end tests should be okay.
Okay. All right. That's good. Because I want to make sure we get everything on it.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks, and we'll meet tomorrow, same time.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.